Hey family, Gracie here once again. Welcome back if you are part of this family, and if you just stumbled upon this channel, please consider subscribing. That way you will have become part of us. I appreciate everybody that encourages me with the beautiful words. It keeps me going, and I'm never gonna stop saying thank you. So in today's video, it is something that I landed on the internet, and I decided to bring it here to my family and we talk about it. Without wasting any time, let's watch a clip together, come back, and talk about it.
All the people that you see here are students. But the most important thing is that they don't know what to expect in the future. But the French kids who are going to school just like you, they know already when they finish the school, they have a job, they have a house, they have a house, right? We are tired of French imperialism. This is a symbol of all our deaths that French has killed. By sanctions, by war, by imperialism. And we're coming with this gift to deposit here and to say it's done with the imperialism. Before we give you this beautiful gift that you want to have to give to your boss, ambassador. The reason why we are here, sorry? I think it was no, this is all the gift. And I'm going to explain to you the reason why.
Christmas came early, my brother.
All the people that you see here are students. But the most important thing is that they don't know what to expect in the future. But the French kids who are going to school just like you, they know already when they finish the school, they have a job, they have a house, they have a house, right? And what makes that possible is simply because France, since 1960s, has been exploiting 14 countries in Africa, taking 400 billion US dollars out of Africa to prepare the future of French children. Why the African children like you, out of school, you don't have a hope. You don't know what's going to happen when you finish the school. That's why we are here. In this generation, where we say we are at the point of no return, where we say that it's a unity of Africa, and it's the time that Africa is standing up to rebuild itself as a global power base. And in that process, we say France, America.
This is not the first time we have seen French ambassadors being ordered to leave Africa. Few weeks ago, thousands of Nigerians gathered near France's military base in Niamey to celebrate the departure of French ambassador, about a month after the military junta ordered him to leave. Meanwhile, cheers to all who stood strongly with Niger and made their voices heard. We all did it together, and this is the spirit of the emerging new Africa, where religion, tribe, culture, country, or creed means nothing as long as we're Africans. We're just one big African family, and we pray for more colonial Iroquois to fall in our lands.
I don't have so much context about the clip that we just watched, but I feel like that does not even matter. It encourages me and makes me even happier, me and other people that have been speaking about these issues and saying Africa must unite. What the imperialists have been doing for decades, they have been terrorizing and oppressing one particular country, and they threaten others. Because of that, other nations within Africa have watched others go through horrendous evils, pain, turmoil, without saying anything. All of them have been made to say, it's none of your business. And that's how they have managed to have control over us for decades. One thing they did, they made sure that they divide us with borders, with languages, with culture, and turning us against each other. Because of that, we've not been able to come and defend other people that have been oppressed. When I see this right here, it gives me hope. It gives me a hope that this is the Africa that we have been praying for, hoping for. It has started taking form. An Africa where if one country is being oppressed, if your neighbor is oppressed, you are going to come out in unity and speak and take action. Because if they are terrorizing your neighbor, when they are done with them, they are coming next to you. What we need is only unity. Let us put ourselves together, because the more we are together, we are going to be such an unbreakable force. We are going to speak with one voice, And that is what we need at the moment. We don't have any time to tell each other you're not this, you're not that, because of the borders that were imposed on us. Before them, we were one whole huge family. Maybe we all were in different locations, but we didn't have colorisms. We looked at each other as family. That's exactly what we need right now in the 21st century, in 2024. It breaks my heart when I find a lot of young people on the internet abusing and insulting each other, and we are avoiding to address the elephant that is in the room, which has been oppressing us for decades and decades, which is responsible to the reason as to why our leaders are not doing exactly what they are doing. It breaks my heart that in this generation, we have all the resources and the tools to use and to come together as a people, but we are misusing it. If we don't do what we need to do right now, time is going to come and we will wake up with the same people that oppressed us 400-500 years back, coming back again and taking everything. And let me tell you, they are coming back very, very soon. You are seeing the influx of Chinese, you are seeing the influx of white people, you are seeing a lot of white people calling themselves Africans. This is serious. It has never been serious than it is right now. So it is not time for us as Africans to have divided grounds. We have to stand on one common ground. That way, we are going to speak with one voice like our brothers right here. South Africa, Nigeria, and we are going to tell them enough is enough. It is time for you to leave. You told us you left, but in reality, you never left. So we want you out. We are very productive. We are very, very talented. Africa has the youngest population. This population can actually do something towards the development. All we need is the Afrocentric education that is going to give us all the skills that we need. People in the diaspora, let us put our forces together as well. If you have the skills, join us. It is time to make Africa for Africans. The reason as to why the imperialists still have bases in Africa is because the wealth of Africa is what makes their economies stronger. If they leave, there's no way their economies are going to stand. So they have to keep oppressing, because without the African resources, their economies are going to collapse. This is the Africa that we want. The Africa that is not divided by borders. The Africa that is driven by the spirit of Ubuntu. When I speak about these things, they make me so emotional. And I'm going to give you a reason to why. I have just started waking up and reading the real history. The saddest thing is the lies that they have fed us. And I am so happy that Africans, the young people, are waking up and they are not falling for their lies anymore. We have a generation that is waking up to see everything that has been done, not to just us as the countries, but to generations that were before us. The lies they have told just to make sure they turn us against each other is just so unbelievable. And you realize that whenever they talk of African leaders, those that have the interests of their own people at heart are always talked about as human rights violators. They are talked about as dictators. And that's because these leaders do not buy into their agendas. That's because these leaders are saying no to their commands. That's because these leaders are not dancing on their snapshots anymore. So when I see this happening, it just gives me hope. When I see this, it just tells me it is time for us to create the Africa that we want. Nobody else is going to create this Africa, because for decades and decades they have said they are going to help. They are saying we are giving you aid, but with everything that they are saying, African countries are still impoverished. African countries are still called third worlds. If you had the best intentions at heart for these countries, they wouldn't still be having the third world status. The imperialists are trying so hard to make sure that they sustain the position where Africa is at. And they are trying to make sure that they loot as much as possible, that by the time Africa wakes up to take action, everything is gone. Well, it is no more. I'm saying this with so much heart into this, because guys, I hear a lot of people, oh, you guys are trying to bring, racism, the reality is you are scared of what we can do to you because of what you have put us through. So it's not that we are racist, it's because you don't have the best interests for us. All you care for is your souls. In all history, you have been thieves, and that is who you will remain. These people have been strategic. All the leaders that come up that are good leaders, what they do is they assassinate them, they annihilate them. A lot of coups that you hear about are caused by these people. The civil wars that are within the countries, all of these things are facilitated by them, because they want to make sure that you don't shift from any position to go anywhere else, because these countries have resources that if they are utilized really well, but you're not going to find any African country that is poor. When I tell you, it is super crazy how called the imperialists, the colonizers are. They are still to date, there are still 14 countries in Africa that still pay colonial tax that amounts to 500 billion US dollars. These countries, every year they have to collect $500 billion and it gets out of Africa. How do you expect these countries to develop when all the wealth, all the money that is, in these countries has to be taken out? Money is printed by these people. Reports are supposed to be given to these people. It makes you wonder, have we even ever been independent? They made you feel like you are independent, but the reality is you have to follow their orders. That is why I'm excited and happy when African countries are coming out to support others that are oppressed. We are Africans before we are Christians. We are Africans before we are South African. We are Africans before we are Ugandans. We have to be driven by the spirit of Ubuntu. Failure for that, we are going to stay impoverished. If in this generation we still have Africans that are telling each other, you can't stay in my country because you're not Ugandan. When you are in my country, you take all the jobs. If you are jobless with your borders, even without borders and other people, other Africans coming in your country, you are still going to be jobless. Let's just work on things that put us together as a people. Unity is all we need. Young, adult, old. That's what we need. We need that African force together. And let me tell you guys, it is possible. It is possible. They've been oppressing our leaders, they've been threatening them, and we didn't know what was happening in the background. Now that we are waking up and we are like, hey, even the masses in Africa know now we are not going to sit down. So kudos to everybody that preaches the message of unity. This is what we need. And when do we need it? Now. The sooner we begin, the better. Don't you come over here, colonizer, saying we are trying to be racists. You have done horrendous acts and evils and you've hidden them. It is time. The skeletons are coming out of the closet. and we are ready to take action with everything that we have. With our voices, we are going to speak, and we are not going to allow anybody to silence us. Don't you tell us to forgive you. Don't you tell us it was the past. The side effects of the past are the same things that are haunting us. There is so much colonialism that is still lingering, and that is why we are in the position that we are in right now. So don't you tell us what to do. We are coming together as a people to come up with solutions. We are going to support our own. South Africa began, Nigeria rallied, and it also protested. The next countries are also coming. That one force is one sign that we are heading in the right direction. It's time for Africa. The new Africa is rising. If you are in the diaspora, join us, because us alone, we are not going to fight alone. We need everybody on the team, wherever you are, whatever you have. If it is a channel, use it, so we create the Africa that we want. But anyways, guys, what do you think of the video? Let me know of your thoughts in the comment section. Subscribe if you haven't, and I will definitely see you in another one. Gracie here. Bye.